and my name is Crystal. I'm a person who's new to this book. So let's start this story.
Hey, look at the book I found yesterday.
Hey, I have seen this book before. It's really amazing. So what is this book really about?
Let's find out. We can take a look together.
Okay, it's not an ordinary story, but a story about a beautiful island, Taiwan. It is on the west of the Pacific Ocean, below Japan and beside China. Taiwan lives peacefully on the ocean. And this book sorts Taiwan into three chapters: history, humanities, and tourist attractions. At first, it's history. In this book, it sorts history into four periods. The first period is Dutch period and Zheng regime in 1624. And the next period is Qing Empire in 1684. And the Japanese rule starts in 1895 and ROC government starts in 1945. Each period has its own features. Let's take a look.
Oh, I heard the Dutch period and French regime was the first period. So what's the feature of that?
In these two periods, the government recruits some Han people come to Taiwan. These Han people are come from Guangzhou and Fujian in China. And these people are known as Minnan people nowadays. And it's hard for them to come to Taiwan because they need to go through the Taiwan Strait, which is known as Blandage. And as the time passed by, more and more Minnan people come to Taiwan and establish the foundation of the Han society.
I have heard that the Minnan people established the Confucius Temple School. So what is it for?
You can see that on the door writes four Chinese words, 全台小学. These four Chinese words means the first school of Taiwan. And they will establish this school is because the way to choose the official in that period is called Emperor's examination systems. And they need to learn the Confucianism if they want to pass the test and be the official.
Oh, I after listening to the Minnan introduction, so let's quickly move to the Qing Empire to know more about information.
The Qing Empire. There is another kind of people which also moved to Taiwan, which is known as the Hakka. They also crossed the Taiwan Strait to Taiwan, but when they came here, the plain land was already taken by the Minnan people, so they lived in the hills. And this is a distribution map of where they live.
So is there anything common between the Hakka and Minnan people?
There is burn incense and placing offerings.
So do they believe in the same God?
No, the Minnan people believe in Matsu.
And the Hakka people believe in King Shanshan and the Yiming Temple.
Okay. So what's the meaning of them?
The religion is an important part of a people's life in nowadays. So they have traditional activities in certain days.
So after listening to the Hakka people, so let's move to the next part, the Japanese rule.
So the book mentioned that there was two things done in the Japanese rule. The first is the railway, and the second is the hydroelectric power plant. So
What station is it?
this is the old picture of the Taipei station, and this is the photo of the platform in Japanese rule. So in the early days, the railway was just for military purpose, but as time passed, because of government as well as political and economic considerations, railway has built all around the island. But what about the secondary industry? Was the power plant built for it?
Yes, it is started in 1931.
Wait, there's more. The book said that because the increased need of power for secondary industry, they built this hydroelectricity power plant to stabilize the usage.
I also heard that the light industry plays an important role in the industry in the ROC government, right?
Yes, so let's go to another chapter, ROC government.
So they established a lot of buffalo supplies, like you can see in the photo, which are cans, and they also can export to other countries.
There are so many female workers working in the factory.
Yes, they are making textiles.
Okay, I know.
So, in 1979, they established the Hsinchu Science Park and bring a lot of job opportunities to skilled people and the rise of high-tech industry.
Is it the TSMC?
Yes, TSMC stands for Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, and you can see that they are making semiconductor, which is worldwide famous. Here is a market share of the water family showing the amount of the production of the semiconductor. You can see that the TSMC almost take half of it.
And I think all of these regimes established nowadays Taiwan.
So let's move to the next chapter, humanities.
So, the area of Taiwan is 36,000 square kilometers, and the population is 26 million people. The population density is 650 people per square kilometer.
Oh, I still remember that we have mentioned the Minnan people and Hakka people played the two of the part in the Taiwan population, and the Minnan people comes here since the Dutch period and Chinese regime, and the Hakka comes since the Qing dynasty, right?
Yes, but there are also a group of people living in Taiwan for a long time, which is known as Aboriginal now. And this is the chart about the Taiwan's ethnic group composition. And this is, you can see Minnan people takes the largest group in Taiwan, which is 76.9%. And the Hakka people takes 13.6%. And the Aboriginal takes 2.4%. And first, the Aboriginals. Do you know how many tribes are there in Taiwan?
Oh, I know. There are 16 tribes in Taiwan.
Yes. So, yes. And do you know which tribe has the largest population?
Yes, I know. It's the Amis, and it has the 37% in the Aboriginals in Taiwan. So it has the largest population.
Yes, and in their clothes has a special meaning too.
So the red represents the blood, and the green represents for the forest and plants for the nature, and white represents the clean and white. The black means the cultivated land.
And that's because floods mean handing down to generation, and the forest and the plants, and nature means life. The clean and white means forest, and the cultivated land means the source of everything. All of these show that the advocate to nature that our needs have.
Yes, you know a lot about it. And let's go to the next page. Harvest Festival.
What is this harvest festival for?
It is focused on the ethnical awareness and the inheritance of tradition.
So I think that is, I have heard they have one day for preparing, and the picture and the woman in this picture are making the headset for the tomorrow's festival. And then they will worship to the God in the sky, and then they will use the rice wine, glutinous rice, and betel nuts for their celebrating. Also, they were dancing to show their collaboration and then the respect to their God.
So, I have more knowledge about the Aboriginals. They are very special people in the group of Taiwan.
So after listening to them, so let's quickly to the Minnan introduction.
Okay, it has a very special construction which is built by the red tails and red breeds.
And this is the puppet show. So you need to control the puppet with one hand and operate them with 5 of fingers individually.
There's a link for a video for a puppet show, so let's take a look about it.
So here is the stage. You can see on the top of the stage is a stage top, and the person behind is the performer. And so when they operate the puppet, they need to go on the left side and leave on the right side.
And now puppet shows are connected with the technology too. like the electronic sounds connected with the puppet show, and they even made a game of it. And the puppet show meant a lot to Minnan people. It's a very important entertainment in old days, and also it shows Minnan's religion belief and the relationship between Taiwanese and God. Also, the inheritance of culture.
Sounds so interesting. So I can't wait to listen more about Hakka people next.
Fine, I'll tell you about it. So there are two specialties of the Hakka. One is the lei cha, and other is blue dye.
Well, this too looks good and healthy.
You're right, because lei cha is rich of nutrition, which is made out of rice, green tea, sesame, and peanut powder.
How is it making method?
So in the method, there are 3 steps. The first step is to mix the ingredients in the lei bowl. And the second step is to grind with lei sick. And last is to steep with water.
I hear that there is a traditional method of blue dye.
You're right, because in ancient times, the blue color comes from a plant which grows on the hill and likes wet weather.
So that is why the Hakka people are so good at blue dye, right?
Because the Hakka people lived on the hills in the early times, and also the plants lived there, so they know how to use it. And the blue dye also shows the spirit of the Hakka people, showing their pure and diligent.
Oh, wow, I learned from you so much. So the next part, we are going to move to the next chapter, which is the attractions.
What is it?
It is the tourist attractions in Taiwan, and we will introduce it from north to the east. And then we will start with the Taipei 101 and Shiling Night Market. In the Taipei 101, it is the highest building in Taiwan.
So can we go up there?
Of course, in the 18th floor, there is the observatory, and you can see the whole site of in Taipei. And then in the New Year's Eve, you can have the New Year's Eve fireworks for a stunning experience.
Well, I really want to experience one by myself.
Me too. But what if I was hungry at night? Is there any special food that I can eat in Taiwan?
Of course, there's Shiling Night Market, and I believe that you have seen so many delicacies then, and here are 3 of my recommend, and I wanted to try when I come to Taiwan, and it's the bubble milk tea, chicken cutlet, and the stinky tofu.
Hey, Ray, sneak off it.
What? I was daydreaming how good the food was.
Your mouth was open.
Sorry.
So, and besides of the food, you can also have the night market culture, which is have the crowded experience, and here also a religional experience for a crowded but also the largest.
Is that Mazu pilgrimage?
Yes, that is the Mazu pilgrimage. So before we know about the Mazu pilgrimage, we have to first to have some understanding about the Dajia Zhenlan Temple. And the Dajia Zhenlan Temple is the representative Mazu temple in the central Taiwan. And there are some sculpture and special art in this temple.
So is there meaning to these carvings?
Yes, this pillar you can see 2 dragons, and the top of the dragons means the heaven, and the bottom of it means the earth. So when they combine together, it means the earth shaking.
What's on the top of the pillar?
And on the top of the pillar, it means the phoenix. And when the phoenix and the dragon combine together, it has another meaning. It means for the blessing, for the merit and victory. And then you can go to the entrance. You will see the stone lion.
I think this small stone lion looks different.
Yes, you can see it is covering its ears. That is because the Dajia Zhenlan temple often set off many fireworks, so this stone lion covers its ears to prevent from the sound.
Wow.
Noise sound.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so let's move to the Mazu pilgrimage. You can see there are tens of thousands of people. They are here and for celebrating for the Mazu, and then they will build in the February and March in the lunar calendar, and it will last for the 8 days and 7 nights. And that is the third largest Mazu pyramid. And that is my introduction.
So, what are they doing?
Oh, they are swirling underneath the staircase, and these activities then hope them for the peace and good luck. Also can calm people's heart.
And where are we going to next?
We are going to the Summer Lake in Nantou. So in the Summer Lake, there's a tourist attraction, and it was the hydroelectric power plant before. So here, now we can have more opportunities to close to the nature. Here we can have the bicycle around the lake or on this bicycle path.
So, what is that statue?
That is the Night Frog statue, and that is the different meanings that we can see this statue to tell apart the rain, and it's because it's the rain small, so the water will be the lower, and then the frog statue will show up more frogs on this lake. And here you can see so many people here swimming in the lake. That is a special event in the Sun Lake that's called Swimming Across the Sun Lake. And here it will be held on the September, and it will attract thousands of athletes to attend this special activity. Do you have heard of the historic place?
Is that Anping Fort?
Yes, that is Anping Fort. In Anping Fort, you can experience the atmosphere in the Qing regime and the Dutch period. The ancient cannon shows the evidence that here's a war before.
What is this statue doing?
And then the statue is the Dutch surrounding the Qing regime, shows the victory of the Qing regime. And then the next spot is the Kenting. If you really like water activities, you cannot miss this spot, because in the Kenting you can experience coral reef coast.
I love diving. I wonder if you could ask Dory where Nemo is.
Ah, you're so funny.
Also, you can experience activities and water activities in Kenting. And last is the Taroko in Hualien. If you really love nature, this spot you really must go. Taroko was different from another beach is because it is not with sand. This is with cliff. And then we can go into the Taroko National Park or walk along in the Shakadao Trail to watch the scene of the U-shaped valley and the cliffs and the sea near coast the Hualien.
What about the famous Tunnel of Nine Turns?
This tunnel is known for it has a limestone. And there are also many tourist attractions in Taiwan are worth it to going. So here we have the author's word in the end. So it says Taiwan is a place full of culture and historic story.
And there's more. This book is more than a story. It is a journey for you to experience yourself.
So this is our presentation. Thank you for listening.
非常谢谢他们有趣又生动的介绍。那接下来我们有10分钟。